Well, hello, and welcome. This is Julian of the Jewel Design, and we are here on this lovely little weekend, hopefully, and we are going to be working on page ideas, taking digitals, papers, file folders, things like that to fill maybe an unexpected size. So when you do 8 by 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, you know, the standard journal concept is just to fold in half, trim up, make a cover to fit. In the U.S., a standard journal is taking an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, folding it in half, and creating a 9-inch tall by 6-inch wide journal cover that you fold in half, spine it, whatever. Sometimes we'll make full covers. Yeah, find fun, interesting ways to sew in or bind our journal pages. But once in a while, we just get tired of making the same old size. So, you know, you saw me hopefully earlier in the week, and we started technically a 5 by 7. This is actually 4 3/8, but in general concept, or actually it's 4, so this is 5 1/4 by 7 1/2. The pages are just under, you know, they're 7 by 4 3/8. But let's just say on average, you know, it's a 5 by 7 journal. Whether you make it a lookbook and everything you flip is very pretty to look at, whether you add journal pages, you know, eco-dyed, coffee-dyed, tea-dyed, speckled, whatever papers to give you vintage or contemporary looks in between a journal on. But whatever we do, you know, it's to be of use to you. So we sometimes, though, get papers and pages that are decorative, as we have like here, and we have to work them down to something that fits the cover size that maybe we have to work with. So in this case, I wanted to do something different, and so I based it off a binder, a Tim Holtz ring binder, and went and then, you know, realized, well, okay, it's not really what works, but I liked the page size. That's how we got the 7 by 4 3/4. So I made a cover to fit that. So we started out with this. This was a Tim Holtz 2-ring binder, and I put some fabric on and all that, but I realized that when I was done, I had overshot the runway with the pages, so on their rings far out, they were sticking out like way too much, right? It's one thing to have your lace or your ruffles, your lace, your things like trims sticking out, but to have your pages already sticking out and then you're going to add to it seemed a little excessive. For a cover. I mean, it's one thing if we're doing a waterfall and we want the pages to, we want to be able to see each page stick out. But normally there's a lot that when we fold a bunch of pages, we don't get them really creased in and sewn in tight. They do fan out as we tuck the next one in. Some ladies will trim it cleanly, so it's a nice bookend. Others will allow it. So I've done a little bit of both, where I've let some stick out and I put lace so it all works together. But this one was too far, and so this will now become whatever scrappy pages left over. I will then probably fit it to this, and it may become, you know, sort of the sample work to the kits and start matching the fabrics that I create. So this may be more of a you know, idea book or scrappy paper left over, like random eclectic journal. But when you create pages that you like sizes for, then you have to create a cover to match. So that's what we did. We made the cover, you know, expand out. We took the same holes that we got off our template. This is what we're using today. This is our page template. And so like I said, I started out where I had the first hole, and it was great. It was flush with the binder, but I noticed that it was going to literally scrape that metal plate in the middle every time, and it was probably going to make turning pages really hard. So I pulled it out some, right? I'm like, nope, let's move it in some so things stick nicely. And the moment I did it, I realized the rings were going to have a kick out farther than I like. So like, well, that's not going to work. So we've created something new, and that's okay. I love the cover. We did, probably hard to see, but we did do some sewing in here. The back turned out great. The back I did a little closer. I did not vary it as much to get more of a diamond. Since nothing's going on the back, I wanted that to be sort of our focal point. So I got an extra stitch in there, you know, and I've got a little bit more of a, you know, proper diamond quilt-like stitch going on for the back of our journal cover. I don't know if you can see it. It's pink on pink. If I did a different color, you probably could. But I'll try hopefully later in the photos, we'll be able to tell, right? But there's a line. They're nice 2 inches, give or take, you know, But they're definitely more, these are definitely more diamond than the rectangles on the front. But the front we're going to decorate, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to have a little bit of something that gives us some fun texture to play with. So I'm happy with either one. We got the covers taken care of. I did print out another page where I had to make sure we got it. And I did put covers on it right now. So for right now I have journal corners. But I do not have 8 journal covers that match no matter what I do. So I have to decide if I want these. I really want these covered. I would really love a perfect 4-corner journal. But these have triangles in the middle. These are sort of like kidney bean in the middle. So I don't know. I have to decide whether I want like kidney bean in the front and maybe the triangles in the back. I love this part, but you know, even that's a little different. So it was a real bummer that I had 4, 4, and 4 and not 8 of any one thing. So I was a little bummed about that. But right now we have it on the ends. They're not glued down. They're just tight enough so they don't fall off. But lets me get start getting a feel for those book corner embellishments. So we are good to go. So what we did was we are starting off with file folder dividing pages, something a little harder, hardcover. In the bundle, you get 1 pink and 1 white file folder. So there's 1/2 of it, right? So I took 1/2 and cut it beautifully. And we have 2 of our pages. And then I took the pink one, and I needed both sides of the pink one. There's one section where I only cut 1 on the bottom. Leaves me this to play with to make some fun journal cover, right? I can either fold it and have a tab, fold it this way and have a fun front cover, fold it a little farther in and I can have a tab on the outside, whatever I want to do. But I make a mini journal, lookbook journal out of this one. And then I have leftovers. I make bookmarks, tabbed, little journal cards. I don't know. Always, you never know what these can be used for, but we got the scraps left over for this one. But it was nice. This white one, this is definitely going to be a fun. I can either fold it in thirds and make it a fun folio, fold it in half and cover the inside paper to where these are the tabs to pockets. A lot of fun ideas. So we took the file folders and used them as our base for some sort of divider-like pages that are decorative. So I took our more decorative pages that are probably right side decor and cut them to fit. And then the left side of that paper, like you see here, right? Decorative here, a little simpler on this side, usually for our journal pages. So this side was fussy cutted, and we ended up with this, and then hopefully this side, the left side of the page, went to the back. Now there's a few that we have, are perfect. They're great. As you can see, I already did some ruffles on this one. I did a tab on that one. This one is another piece. Now this one had a more writing. This side was more writing, and we're going to make a different. We're going to show you. We're going to fold it to make a different size paper that's beautifully writable. And so means we need to collage on the back of this one. So once we've done it, I will cut this one in half and glue the lace to the other side, or fold it over and lace it down. I haven't decided yet. Depends on how the collage turns out. So we have 3 pinks and 2 whites. I figured since the greens, I didn't have as many pages. It was 2 green pages, 2 pink or beige pages. Let me do sort of every other since we have some odd numbers. This is the other one that has to be collaged. And so we're going to put the 4th one together, or 5th one together. I'm showing you sort of what we did. And then start working on folding these semi-decorative pages in different ways to make the most of them to get more, get some more creative pages, writing pages, pocket page type things into the journal. And we'll keep working our way down, and then, we'll fill it with eco-dyed, coffee-dyed, whatever I have in my stash. Right now, I think this is going to be my standard journal card, and it is going to be a part of our topper. I could put my toppers on this thing, but it would take up most of it, and I think this is in the way. So I was like, no, I'll use those for full standard journals later. But I'm thinking this with the lace I gave you guys. I have to go pull my own little swatch of it. I don't know where my swatches are of that one. The lace that comes with it is 9 inches tall, and it's about 3 3/4 wide. I think it's going to make a nice offset square or long rectangle, or short rectangle behind this. So we're going to have the lace back here. We have this. I'm going to have to find a spot maybe down the side here to add the pink pom-pom, we're going to take pieces from that journal kit and definitely decorate this up. So I'm looking forward to putting the green on top of the pink since I did not have enough green. But I think I have enough green fabric. I'm debating on putting the green fabric on top of the green paper. I know I did the green, which is a little mintier than the fabric. That's what it is. I am debating about making a green fabric pocket, and maybe we will overlay some lace just to bring it down a little bit. But yeah, I had a real tough time trying to match these two. Our print work for the container, for the fabric job, and then tweaking it into layers in a digital format was definitely had a different feel. I also light and dark this. I highlight it, I shadow it, I do all this fun stuff to it. So it also has been tweaked with, right? I never do anything flat when it comes to print work if I can help it. So fabric's little flatter. We don't have as much highs and lows in it. It's a little greener than my print work. That and each printer print's very different. So it's like, oh goodness. So I'm debating whether we're going to put lace pockets in here or we're going to put fabric lace pockets in here, right? Trim it, cut it, add some lace and decor, and maybe, make some pretty. Now the only downside I just realized if I put this over here is that we have this right here. So I may have to all do a little circular hole punch there so that this will, keep rolling through it. It's the only thing it's always helpful to put your pockets in first. But sometimes you get those inspirations at the last minute, right? So anyway, there is some fun stuff to come for that still. So we decided, after, like I said, off the first one was to do a 7-inch tall by 4 3/8. It's actually a little longer for me, but I'm suggesting 4 3/8 for you. To do technically a 7.5 by 5 1/4 journal. And we normally put our sizes off the cover, knowing the pages fit inside the cover. So we sort of judge our journal sizes by the cover. So this one definitely has a little bit of room because of the rings to make sure we can add all our pretties to the edge of the papers and not have them excessively sticking out. We can see them. We know there's something going on here. And we'll continue to add stuff to these, but we don't want I personally don't want massive amount of stuff sticking out. So with that, the file folders were, the more decorative page. I'm doing on the darker side. I deckled around the paper. We'll ink it, glue it down, and then we're using more the lighter papers, whether it's for pockets or journaling, to go on the lighter side of the file folder. Most file folders are two-toned, lighter on the inside, darker on the outside, for whatever reason. So, when I did this, I did pretty much trace the template and then made sure that I deco cut inside the measurements so that we had just enough edge showing that we could still see the file folder. I always, if you watch me enough, you know that I like having some kind of a framed border for my panel work, I guess, whether it's a folio, journal cover, whatever, it's not just a standard file journal. If I'm going to be gluing it onto something, I like to show a little bit of what's behind it, pop through. It's not a whole lot of, you can if it was a random card piece, something that I don't want to see anything of, and I was just using it for weight, totally template it, match it, glue it down, cross our fingers that we don't go over the edges to trim too much, and all said and done is good. But in this case, I want to see the file folder. The whole point of using pink, green, brown, gray, whatever colors of file folders you get from us is to maybe see the color. Otherwise we would just sell manila and white file folders to everybody and they could ink the edges a little bit and, we really wouldn't expect to see it. No one cares, right? It's all about the paper. So it's nice to have the color because sometimes it helps buy us a little space, a little time, a little supplies. If we have a little bit of color in the file folder, then maybe we don't need so much, paper or ink or something else. So, yes, these are not all the same size. And even with that, I still copied things and didn't quite get it consistent for whatever reason on my papers. So, in this case, this one's we're going to let it be a little conky. I tried to perfectly do things, but I decided it really wasn't worth, perfection. We're just going to have some fun with it, right? So we're going to do these. So, like I said, we have to do some collage work. When I think we're done doing a lot of papers, all said and done, and I have, everything sort of trimmed out, I want to collage on the back of a couple of these because we didn't have a consistent, yes, these are all pretty decorative. I didn't really plan on a journal page for these dividers. These dividers are dividers. They're just sort of dividing out the sections, and try to have a somewhat equal amount of stuff in between. I didn't need to have the back or the front writable. So because of that, and some of these pages we cut out for decorative, happened to be writing on the other side in the other half of the page. I went ahead and decided we were going to take scraps and collage, sort of a quilt variation, blocked quilt version, not a scrappy version, on the back side, since we are sort of sticking to that very square feel with the diamond, somewhat diamond, rectangles stitching on the front. Figured why not? Lace quilts, fabrics, roses, they all go together. It's all good. Let's make sure I have that one upright and this one upright. We never want to do anything upside down. Some of the pages could go upside down, and it wouldn't be a huge problem, thankfully. Some of my, unless you can see writing, you almost wouldn't know which way is up. The joy of some of the flowers and whatnot does lend itself to that possibility, which is great. I'm like, yay for that. Make sure we get all the glue off. Plus it just sort of squeegees it all out and helps me get it all taken care of. Okay. So that was how I did the, we just simply made it, I did the template, then we went through the papers, and I laid out that template, and I was like, okay, well, I really want this end. So I scraped, marked it here, and then deckled inside it all the way around to make sure that it was a little smaller than the template itself. Okay. Really, that is. Now, these guys, I have not decided to put these covers on. I think I'm going to try to save most of these for just the front and back pages that we have. Because, those are going to be a little thinner. At least these have the file folders, give it a little bit of weight. Plus the two, front and back 32-pound paper. It makes them a little thicker and help through that. So, I'm just using a standard. Now for these, I'm just using standard hole punch, whatever size this is. Pretty much. I am not getting anything fancy with these. I use the We Are hole punch for the cover because it needed to match the grommets, right? The grommets that we buy need to fit inside a certain hole. If we get these holes, I think, are a little bit bigger, and the grommets would just fall through and wouldn't do us any good. So this one, like the first one, I decided, the first one has a small green, we're going to do probably a green tab on the bottom of this one. In between, the green pages had a green ruffle. This has lace in the middle. This is our middle one. So a little bit of, what's the word, like, rhyme and reason for it. But when I was creating the other file fold, the other ruffles, I had a little bit of extra that went beyond the mess I was creating. So I figured I could cut those small pieces and make them the tabs I was hoping for. I'm hoping to do a lot of, tabs and lace. On one of these pages, we are going to attempt to actually glue lace in between. So if we're going to fold these pages in half and to make a thicker paper and decorative on both sides without having to print on both sides, we can fold it to where the open edges are on the outside of the page here, and we can actually glue in I'm going to bunch this up just a little bit. We can actually sort of glue in the lace in between the pages instead of having to decide front or back. Which page do we put this on? Usually we have to decide, right? Which side are we putting the goodies on, right? Because if we are looking at it, of course, left to right, what we see here on the front is what we see first and foremost. When you flip it, of course, when it's all done and you look back, you're going to see all the rough back sides, right? Which, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to let it be a little messy. It's all good. Makes for a fun tab. But sometimes, it's trying to decide which side to put the lace on. And if you have the opportunity to put two pages together, whatever that may be, it's a great time to utilize that moment and glue lace in between your pages. So there we go. So at first glance, we have some tabs, some ruffles, and some lace. So this one I'm really thinking I'm going to cut in half and then glue the lace on the other side. So it's sort of a knife pleats on, like you can do on pillows and stuff, to where these two bits aren't going to be glued together. They're going to be open and sort of, roughly. We're only gluing to the page and not to itself. So I'll probably go right down the middle where the diamonds are, or the squares are, and glue, it upside down and give us something frilly to deal with. But until I get this side collage, I am just leaving it here for placement, because I don't want to have a loose piece of fabric somewhere, or a loose piece of lace. So when we're said and done, I'm hoping that there's plenty of variations where I have all these different, I have to erase a bunch of lines, but we have all these pieces that we can left, right, top, bottom, sort of go back and forth with, right? And sort of quilt in the potential, which I'll have to recut. That was a weird feeling. I'm hoping that's not what I think it was. That, we can do things like this, right? Left and right. Sort of find a way to quilt it, whether we do that chevron, that little, what was the whale tail or whatever it is. Somehow quilt this in a way that isn't just your standard. We're not just putting scrap papers on here, because they are going to be edges. They're going to be rectangles of different sizes, and that's all we can do. So I have a small side of green, which I definitely have more pink than green, but I think we're getting more and more. So I think we're all said and done. It's going to be one of those pages, one of those days where I'll probably do a short little reel, and I'll probably lay out, a collage option on how to cover, a file folder or the back of a paper page that you need something on that you can't print, but you have scrap papers to do so. So that'll be fun. Okay, so now inside, here's the fun part. We have two papers that, like I said, the reason why we don't have anything on the back of this one is because this was the other half of the page, right? So it was a writing space. So I didn't really want to put plain writing spaces on our dividers. So there's that one. And then there's the green one here. Again, the other half was the dark green version. So these guys, I think, are going to be our first set. And they'll just fit height-wise. And we're going to fold them in half and just glue them together and ink them all around with antique, because these pages were a little darker around the edges. So if we do this, glue them down really good, trim off whatever is uneven, if I can't get it to stay, ink it up, hole punch it, stick it in, and we have a double-sided small journal space. Easy as pie. Real simple, right? Nothing crazy, nothing hard. But it's putting these pages to good use. Because, if I wanted to, I could, if this was a bigger journal. And for some reason, I needed that perfect page, perfect half, decorative page for some reason. And this meant I had a writing space on this side. I could leave it upright. I could put a coffee diet on the back side. I could do, something else to it. And have it an upright to fit in 9x6. But we don't have that, right? So I thought, well, it's a little off, but I think we're going to have a few pages that are going to be a little different in size, and I'm okay with that, to make it interesting. I know I have some binder paper that I want to spray coffee on, or I may, it's lavender though, it may still give me a pinky color. I don't have any pink right now. I don't have a speckled pink that I need to reuse. I either have an old ink, or I have a lavender ink pad that just was really pale and really, I felt like it was just dry. So it's one of those, I need to drop into a pad of water and get myself some lavender dyed, maybe some lavender dyed water to help spray and, color some newer contemporary pieces, right? Get the paper that isn't old and try and give me some color, but I think it's going to be more lavender than pinks, so I don't think that's going to help me in this end. But I want to spray some, whoops, I really got into that, didn't I, by accident? I want to spray some, I had to do that, didn't I? See if I can, well, the paper moves on you and all of a sudden it bulges in the middle. You're like, whoops, that's not helpful. There we go. Trying to trim off the edges, and I know better. I like just spraying coffee coffee dyed water or tea dyed water, and getting more of a speckled look than a dyed, full page dyed. Because that's not always, I mean, it's a lot of work. I'm like, it's a lot of work. So now I'm just going to try to get a pretty concentrated version of ink on these edges, since I did put a darker edge on some of these pages. So when you have to fold something in half and you're like, oh, well, there went my cute idea. That's what I love about eco dye and coffee dye paste. The edges were how they absorb the color. But if you have to cut that off, then you sort of lose the whole excitement of the page. So we have to recreate it, right? So when this one has a little bit of darkness, but we've just cut off down the middle, and we've cut, we've folded it, we need to recreate that sort of distressed look all the way around. All right, here we go. Beautiful. See? Now I'm going to do it, I think we'll put the bottom corner. We want the stuff here. It is upside down. I feel like, let's do that. We'll do more of the top. I thought it'd be bottom, but I think we're going to go top. And we are going to, let's go this way, I guess. We'll do it backwards. I'm going to try to center it the best I can, top and bottom. And we'll then mark accordingly. There we go. That way everything's centered, just like when we try to sew things in. We try to make sure that at least two of the three holes have, the papers sewn in. You want at least two of the three, strings in the paper, if you can help it. Keeps it from roaming around. One stitch or one hole here causes it to move around a lot, and definitely more likely to rip something. Now, to be on the safe side, we are going to do, at least on one side, if not both, some protectors. And I ink them either green or pink, depending on the page. So we're going to start off, I keep doing that. So I guess I'm going to do both sides. Meant to just the front. I may have to do another sheet of these. But we will do them both. I keep putting this one upside down, so I was like, wait, hold on. Hard part is trying to get it to line up and not rip anything. There we go. I'm like, please tell me, and hopefully I'm still on camera, sorry. Okay, so we did the front and back of these. They are green. Matches pretty well. Our green is not perfect. I didn't try to catch every little ounce of it. The pink was really fun to do. Okay, so I can decide, let's see. And we'll do these on the inside and out. So they're on, forget this is not an actual binder clip. I have to actually move it a little bit. Okay, so this one will go here, I think, because I like the fact there's a pink behind it for some contrast. And it's going to change. I'm going to put more paper in here, so I'm not really sure why I'm being worrisome about it. But we're going to put the green one there, and I think we're going to put the pink one, the pinky beige one, or the beige one on this side. Why not, right? We're just going to start filling them in and making the most of it. So I can see right now that there is already here, but I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I take it back. I think I'm going to, let's do that. Now this one I ended up with a little bit more gray behind it. I actually had a whole nother journal page I made for you guys, but it had a very weird, more gray tone, like the binder, that sort of grayish purple, and I was like, oh, I don't care for that. So I stuck with the green journal page for you guys for making a standard journal. Now those are pages that I have no clue how we're going to wrap in because they are too tall. And trimming them would definitely do an interesting design element. So those will probably go in something else. That page will just be put into some other journal. I do have my purple idea book, so maybe that page will get folded in half and just tabbed in. And this is definitely off. I'm like, amazing how when you I cut the other page, how off this one ended up being, but it's okay. We'll trim it off. We'll trim it and cross our fingers, right? Okay, so there's this. Now next couple, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to pick our focal point. We're going to fold it accordingly to what, I just made all that messes and didn't matter. We're going to fold it according to what I want as a focal point. And so there will be more scraps. There will be more rectangles to play with and work with. we always want to make sure you cut it with the biggest triangles or biggest rectangles in mind, so that you have more flexibility to use them than just going, well, it is scrappy and I don't have a choice. You know, scrapped papers are great, but we can only make so many, you know, master boards. And I mean, you see me, there's times where I'll end up with all those little thin strips, hordes of thin strips, because I trim off papers or trim pages off or whatever. And my glue stick is definitely not warming up. Oh, so I always have the thin strips, which is great because then I end up with my weave journal cards or tags, which was a lot of fun in the grungy feminine book because it had the right coloring. And so I just decorated it up, and it had a pocket on it and a journal space, and you know, it worked beautifully. But you can only deal with so many skinny scraps. So here I'm trying to get a little bit more rectangle, wider pieces to work with as I go through this. So I don't want to do. Now this one is almost surprisingly, I don't know how, the way I folded it, I guess. This has a little bit more of a perfect border all the way around it than we could see on the other one. So I do feel, though, that it's more stable if we put the holes on the folded side than on the open side. So we're going to do this in the same thing. We're going to try and find middle of our template. Not perfect, but hey, it's, you know, if I wanted to, I could put it here and then make marks so that I knew to do that for future papers, but I don't know how many pages are going to be small like this. Ooh, let's not do that too weird. Hold on. I moved it weird. I was like, because if you move too weird, then it sort of messes with the rings, and the rings will bounce up and down and make it a little temperamental, right? Now this one is really pale, so even the pink is going to stick out, but the green would be worse than the pink. So definitely back this one with the paler pink pages or pink protectors that I have to make sure this is what it needs to be. Okay, so the next one I want to do is I think one of these, I definitely wanted to do that whole glue it together and add lace. Show you that idea, because the other two, I think, or a couple of the others are just put them together, right? So let's see. That's the inside, right? Upside down, right side up, doesn't really matter. Ouch, I keep catching my fingernails. So I'm going to look for the ones that are a little paler. I didn't get as much pink on them, and use those to help cover, you know, these holes. Ones that are just a little less, but this is very a cream page. I could do, which I didn't think about till right now. That's all right. I probably have just inked ones, and I probably had some that were pale that would have worked better. But this is a pink and green journal, so we are going to keep to those accents, right? Why not? That's okay. It works good. I don't think it's a huge thing. I think it's okay. I do have some of them. I'm noticing that our cream pages look a little weird. I believe I have some simple inked ones too. Let's see. Yep, I do. Well, I mean, they're still dark, but I think it might be a better fit. So let's just put them aside just in case. Just in case we have a few pages that really tend to lend to the cream. So there we go. We have a first journal set of journal pages, first 4. They're a little different in size, but plopped in to go. And we keep moving forward. So, next one was one of these I felt would be, I don't remember which one. I really wanted the lace in between. So I wanted to fold it to where I had the lace in between the pages. Once we do a deco cut, we put the lace in between. But I don't remember which one it was supposed to be. I definitely want to fold this one here and go outward. So this is our middle section. So we're going to fold it in half, pull it out. Cut across the bottom so I get the long strip, and then I just have 2 little strips off whatever edges I need. This is going to be where we're going to fold it. We're going to pick our space, and we're going to fold it down knowing we're having excess over here to make the width that we want. Knowing that this is going to be, you know, a clip section for something later. Sort of the same thing. I have to decide. I mean, we can go even sideways. Can we go? Nope, not quite. I'm like, yeah, can't go side. We can't turn it, even though it's really pretty on this corner. It wouldn't be long and wide enough. So yes, I can go a little smaller if I really wanted halfway and get more 4 1/4 or even 4-ish. I could do if we are going for smaller pages. If I really wanted something, you know, more front, back, or back and front, we could go smaller. I could go long ways and then just go 7 inches tall. Could do that too. No one says it has to be, because I really love the idea of this, you know, floral here and the lace. Because I think if we go either one of these, fold it in half, I'm only going to get to here. So it's going to be very open down here in the back. That would be my decorative. Otherwise, that's my decorative. It's folded here, and yes, we're trying to keep the folds on the inside, so this is the outside. So outside bottom, outside top. This would be the front, this would be the back, but that's okay. Unless I flipped it. I can flip it upside down then, duh. I can make this the front by putting the fold here. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so let's do this. I don't know which one's gonna have the lace yet, so we're just gonna sort of carefully work this. Now, it is very narrow, and I just don't know if it's gonna be too narrow. Why not? I mean, we have other oddballs in here, right? This one's just as short, and it's not as tall. This one will be all the way tall, you know, it will be the right height. So we're gonna have some varied pages, and I think that's gonna be okay. I think that's gonna make it more interesting. I love when we get the opportunity to do a bunch of different papers, and we can stagger them, top and bottom, up, back and forth. It just makes it definitely more of a feel of a junk journal, because it feels like there's some chaos to it. When we have such beautiful pages, we love them, but like, oh, but they're perfectly aligned. Yes, I was like, wait, but this is the one I want. So we know. Now the only difference is whether or not I need to yeah, so we'll cut here, and that I have a whole strip now, right, to do with any kind of collage work I want, or, you know, fold in half and make journal cards. I could do them back and forth and make them a journal card to put in like a journal card to put in something. It does have this on the side, which is cute. No decals in this sense. We're going to keep these pretty straight. At some point, I might decide to round some corners on the outside. I don't know. I don't mind the square look on this in this end. What I do need to keep in mind is whether or not we're going to decal this edge slightly to, what's the word? So that we can add lace. I don't know which ones I want to add lace to. This is very much a white page. This is maybe a little bit more cream, definitely cream. This one would be fun, I think, actually, to have the roses on the inside and have the lace on the outside, since it's so light, to have a lace page in between, for sure. So this one, you know, if I'm trying to go down the middle, we are going to fold, yeah, we're going to fold it in half and then go outward on this one, because I want to have this beautiful, right? We need this. So we're going to go out this way, and I will measure, you know, both. I won't assume that that's the 7 inches once I trim off the edges. So in this one, we're going to trim off the white. We're going to trim off the bottoms, which will help go collage. Yes, there'll be a little strip here, but we're actually going to decal this once I have it cut here and here. We're going to do the decal here so that I can put the lace in between, for sure. Okay, so I'm just sort of doing this so I can go, you know, pause, go cut these, come back, and go from there. This one, I knew I wanted here, and but I didn't want to fold it in half, because I wanted to have a bigger lace strip over here, or edge piece. So this one needs to be folded here, right, on that line. And, darn close, because I want this to be our focal point on the page. Close enough. Once you get it all cut off. This is going to be our focal point, and so whatever's on the back is pretty plain. This is going to be the back side of it. So, you know, definitely more, this will be great for pockets and whatever. We want to find a lot of pocket pages and things like that. So, by doing it off-center, though, going down this line here, I have this lace piece into the roses, and then we'll cut across the bottom. So, in this case, since I don't want to lose Wish I could fussy cut that out, but let's see, what's my top to bottom on this one? 7 inches up. Okay. So yeah, there's no, yeah. So I have a little bit of roses on the bottom of the lace, and I have a little bit of roses on the bottom of my strip. Yeah, no, it is what it is. But we have 3 new beautiful pages that we're going to add in with some lace and other trims, and see how those pan out before we go on to the next set of pages. So give me 1 moment to trim these down, and I'll be right back. See, right back. Okay, so I decided that actually I think I'm going to do 2 of these with potential lace. I really like the idea of this one having lace also, just because how decorative it is. Now, if I don't find something or I don't think it's going to work, I can always trim it off and fix it. But we're going to do... The reason I'm doing a decal edge is so that it's something pretty to be inked with the lace in between. So there's that lace piece, that lace sort of whatever. So these are the scraps. These are what's left over, either to do my sort of whalebone pattern on the back, which I think would be really fun. I think we're going to stick to that idea, the whalebone. I think is it a whalebone, whale tail, whatever chevron pattern. This on the other end could just be glued and be rounded and made it a journal card, a decorative journal card that we could, ephemera card that could go in there if it comes up with no other use at any point. So we'll, keep it like that to see how that pans out. But yeah, I think it's a whalebone, whale tail, I don't know, whatever that is. It's not whale tail, but some kind of, what is the word? Something bone. We see it in tile all the time. Okay, so we're going to do that to this one. This one's going to stay nice and clean. I love, that the lace is there. So there's your front and back. Really pretty. So that's a standard, a little skinnier. These are a little wider with lace. We're going to get variations. Oh, wait, yeah, this one. Oh, wait, now this one's going to have 2 really skinny pieces, and it's going to be filler. Just is. It's going to be filler. Oh, yeah, 3/8. So half. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. I was like, what? I'm like, why does that seem wide? It's not. Okay. And these are really skinny, but if I had that tiny little edge, to finish off the pattern, you're going to need those little pieces. So we do what we need to do, right? All right. So now the fun part will be, let's give this one, well, this one's fun. This is just ink. This is just going to glue it, ink it, hole it like you saw me do. I can do that on my own. These 2 are what I was trying to show you, the idea of ways to add in lace when... Oh, I did do that one side upside down. I was like, what? I purposely put those backwards. Yeah. Okay. Where when you want to do something different to the edge and you don't want to put lace on top, and what do? Do you put on the front or the back side? And you feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to double up on my lace. If you glue it, when you have this opportunity to glue 2 pages together, you glue your lace in between them. That way the lace is actually an extension of the page and not a front or back. It covers both. It looks pretty. We don't have to stress about it. It's like, oh, wait, I can do it to where I'm not using up all my lace, especially if you are short on lace and you don't have a lot, or especially with specific lace, there's very little of it, and you need to put it on multiple pages or sections. I feel this is a good way to sort of dual purpose it and not have to go through all your lace on a page or 2 and be like, well, I don't have anything left. Like, how else am I supposed to stretch that and bring it through? So I'm just doing this first so I can glue the lace down to one side, and then we can put glue on everything. Because I can do this when it's all said and done. It's hard to go back in there and ink this, right, once we've got the lace in place. I'm trying to really get that ink in there. I love my pink spun, but the oxide is very light for me. I have a hard time sometimes really getting enough ink on there to see that shadow, that depth. So it's like, come on. I'm trying to circular motion my Doppler more so that I am potentially getting more ink on the edge of the pages. I noticed lately I've had to change my technique a little bit and see. No, lately my fingers, that's doing okay at the moment. Yeah, I think I had a pinched nerve or something in my shoulder or shoulder blade, and it's causing a lot of numbing in my fingers. Oh, so much fun. I'm like, no. So I'm having to do a lot of heat, which I thought I skipped the yard work the other day because I was like, oh, I'm feeling good. Let's skip the yard work just to be safe. Make sure I don't overdo it. And all I did was craft with you guys. and it hurt. Okay, that's not wide enough. Pretty, but I'd have to cut it out. So I want something a little bit more. I mean, I could go really light, which this one would be sort of pretty. It is white, is see-through. Cut this in half, so I'm not using all that. Again, I have these mirrored laces. I have 4 of them that you can use wide. You can fold around a spine. Like that would have been, if I needed to, I could fold it around the edge. And I guess, again, I'd have lace on both sides. Or you can cut it right down the middle and you double your lace allotment by simply cutting it. So I could use that edge and glue it down. How much that would stick out, though? Not that I mind, but sort of curious if I did it. It wouldn't stick out much any more than anything else would. So, I mean, it would and it wouldn't, but it's really light and it's really, really airy. That might not be bad. I mean, it's a hint of something without overpowering it. So there's a possibility for that one. Okay, this one, because I do have a more crochet lace behind. On this image, there is actually, which I don't think we can see now, was a crocheted lace back here plus a doily. And it's sort of blended into the background. So it's very light. So, I mean, I have something like that. If I really wanted to stick out, but I don't know if I want it too heavy or too wide. So probably less than an inch would be beneficial. I think all of my laces, oh, that's one. Again, it's white. I can darken it though. This one has some gather to it. Beautiful both sides. I need that to help glue it down. So you go top and bottom, you gather it a little bit while you glue it down, and we're good to go. But these have white, and these do have more of a white lace, even though this can tend to be cream. I love that we put the cream on this one, because these pages definitely have more cream on it, right? We have this cream in here, so I love that. But with a white doily, even though with the white, this is more of a white lace popping through, I don't mind the white. I mean, if I really felt it needed more, I could put a little bit of ink through it, but I think I like this lighter coloring, and I think with the pink over it, I think it would work. I love this one. This is one of my mom/grandma's laces that I adore. So, give myself a little bit of room just in case I need to scrunch it. We're definitely we're gonna go feminine. So it's nice that I can add a little bit of white to this group. I did have to tone down some white elements. This was a very white, and I had to add some cream to it. I was like, we are a little too white. So I can do one thing. I can add a little pink to this. I can actually just see if I can tone it pink a little bit. If it grabs it, it grabs it. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? If it has a little bit of a pink shadow to it, makes it a little iridescent. Not a bad thing. Plus, it may just, help reduce some of the white, but I'd rather go pink than maybe beige on this one. I don't know if it's there. You can't really tell, and that's okay. I mean, it could go either way. I'm not, like I said, I'm just happen to go over it, and if it picks up some pinks and we realize it has sort of a cute iridescent feel to it later, so be it, right? Okay, so let's get now. Truthfully, I think we're just going to one side, top to bottom. We're going to, since I have it on its side, we are going to do the whole fabric tack. Hopefully it's not going to be too wet. I'm not doing anything thick, but, well, I add it. It's going to probably, with the glue residue eraser, help me. I'm going to put a little bit on this one side because we have to get both sides of the lace. Otherwise, I'm allowing the okay. So let's get it in here, and if I have to, I'm going to bring it down. I probably have it upside down from when I started, but that's okay. We are going to, because what I'll probably do is trim this off once I have it in place and I have it glued and I'm all happy with it. I will, so we're using that gathered piece as our thickest spot to create our border to make sure. I'm just trying to like press the glue out so we're not so bumpy, right? smooth it out, hopefully catch all the bubbles, making sure we have a nice, we're not too bumpy. Not that we're writing on much of this. I mean, you probably could get a pen and write here where the white doily is. But, you know, these are still somewhat pretty. We may end up adding pockets to these. Just depends if they feel like they're too flimsy. Because it is only 32-pound paper and bright white, even though it's now doubled to 64. It still feels a little thinner than our cardstock. But our cardstock isn't as thick as we think. I think it's great. And then I cut it down. And I'm like, oh, there's not much there. Okay, so now we can ink the rest of it. And probably doing a combination too, I have a feeling. I feel like this requires both the pink and a little bit of the vintage. Just a little bit. I always feel like I have to add more eco dye to the, or more ink to the pink one. I don't know why. I haven't, not the green or even the newer lavender I've been okay with, but the pink one I always feel it's dry. I have to push that much harder to get the ink that I want on it. I don't know why. I don't know why. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. But yes, we need to cut the lace a little bit. I don't think I want it. I want to go straight across with the lace. I don't think I want it to be sticking out. I don't think. Let's put it in place and see. Let's not. We're getting a little messy on some areas, right? I'm not doing a perfect anything on some things. So there we go. There's that one. Okay, so then we'll hole punch it. We'll put a whole bunch of them together and work it. So same thing here. Now, I don't, yeah, I could do what we do, like we were going to do for the other side and double it up. The whole point's not to have to. And I don't have a lot of this. So yeah, no, we'll just cut it down the middle and go for it. It's definitely lighter, airier, very much a different, we'll make sure we have a white. We're going to put it on each end of the other grouping. So all the way down to here, huh? So I know where to cut, because I want to keep that bottom section as a whole, because you never know when it may be perfect. And it is just barely held together by the thinnest, I don't even know what keeps this together, truthfully. There's a tiny little, oh, there's tiny little zigzag stitch work in here. Oh my gosh, it's so thin. Oh my god, it's so thin. But I want to keep that, so I either have this to put on a journal card, I have, of course, this edge then for something else. And once we start using certain laces and things, we will find places to use it elsewhere. Within the project, because we want things like lace and embellishments to go through the whole project to make it feel in unison and cohesive and like it's meant to be, right? I wish I will have scraps of the lace I used in the digital kit, but it's a much larger piece of like lace. It's like linen type. I mean, it's a huge piece of lace. It's not trim, so you know, I could probably cut it up and put it somewhere on something, but it's not a trim that I happen to scan, and it looks like a trim, but it is definitely bits and pieces. So we'll do like we did last time. It's very light, so there's not a lot. We don't need a whole lot of glue in this retrospect, in retrospect, but I'm going to move it in a little bit because there's not as much, so I had to cut a little high. That's all right. Woohoo, come back here. You know, we want it to be, we want to make sure there's enough there to grab and it doesn't just come right out. You don't need it to come right out. We'll do this and whoop, there we go. We've got it locked in that one. This one we will make sure it's straight up and down. Very smooth, very, what's the word? Even. The other one, I think we still need to cut the bottom part of the other one off. I don't mind a little bit at the top, but I think the bottom is a little too rounded. So we need to, and this is an eraser, so it even took off my little mark there, right? Ta-da! Alright, so there we go. So there's that. So we definitely want to even this one out, make sure it's square as I can get it. Bloop, there we go. Tiny little pieces. I can't believe I collect those itty bitty pieces. Wait, well, every so often then I will all of a sudden put all the little pieces on like a little binder clippy piece, and then I put it through a bulb pin and had the cutest little silly this little dangle for some journal need, right? You never know. Or you try to put a little tassel together and you just need these little pieces. And I added it to the altered book, actually. I would take it and put it with a bulb with one of the 1-inch acrylic on a bowl pin, and I would put just this little scrap of lace and trim, and just for, you know, texture and layer and dimensions. So you never know when you're going to use that scrap. I have quite the collection. I'm doing a cluster, and I'm like, I need something sticking out as if there's more to it, but there isn't, and it needs to look like there's something there, and it's just, that's all you need. It's a little piece. Let's see if we can get this going. Ugh. Get you guys nice weekend craft, but just ways to create pages, right? Taking our digitals, and, you know, nothing is wasted. We don't have to have it folded in half. You can cut it into all the squares and the rectangles you want, and, you know, back it with your favorite paper or file folder or envelope, whatever, you know, packaging you find that's not quite a press board, but more than, you know, some kind of cardstock. You can back anything when you don't, you know, when you have these. You get them from us and you only have it single-sided. It can be backed. It can be folded, like I'm doing here. Folding it, you don't have to print it twice. It's ready to go, especially if it's smaller. So yeah, this one I think we need to just do a little, I don't want it perfect, but I don't want it sticking out as much as I did. I don't think. There we go. So, oh, see, tiny little piece. But you ring that through, right, like say right here in a bowl pin, and you have acrylic behind it, and you've got a charm on it, and it's part of a cluster. It's as easy as that. Makes it so simple. Okay, now, that's our front. I don't think I want it, it's mirrored backwards, but I don't want it really upside down. So there we go. We'll do this. Okay. And I am doing these together so that they sort of stick out together. And it fits nicely because that is our template, right? I'm probably off camera, sorry. There we go. Lovely, these circles sit inside the hole punch. All right, let's see. So I won't do them together, I just realized, but I can try. Do I have to? Huh? I'm like, wait, I only did one of them, so let's see if we can do this. Go in, line it up so the circle's in the middle of your, confetti everywhere. Yes, so in and in. So I'm pretty much putting the circle in the middle of my hole punch, which covers my thing. And we're going to put it here. I'm going to put it on each side. So we have one inside here. Nope, I take that back. Actually, yes, I want one on each side of the thing, but I think we're going to go in the middle of this. Let's see, which one is that? That's yellow. Yeah, that works. I have to make sure we had maybe not too cream, not cream. That is pretty together. Let's see, let's do this one. I probably have to go back and do my reinforcements, but for right now, before I let you guys go, I wanted to get these in place to see how they look. All right, we'll put that one there. And then this is on the other side of it, but I think we're going to go in between these two, right? So this one looks really good with that one too. So actually they sort of blend with their nearby borders or nearby dividers. Now this definitely feels good. It does feel thicker. But now see, we're getting, now that one does stick out. I love this trim, so I really don't mind. And again, because it's smack in the middle, it doesn't feel like it's one-sided or the other. And we're starting to see, you know, a little bit of things sticking out. So I definitely, yeah, this page one's gonna be a little thinner. Green ones are a little tucked in. This one is stands out a little bit. But you never know what next page comes into play, and I might have something else that totally sticks out. So there we go. And then this little guy will have to go somewhere in between. So we have a divider, we have a page, we have a divider, we have a little page, we have a divider with another little page, right? So we're starting to even things out in fun ways. So this guy, probably with a couple others, maybe I'll do 2 more skinny ones that we will tuck into 3 of these dividers. Now, technically, there is another page back here. So if I wanted, even though it's completely out of the norm, I could put this on the other side here. Who knows? You know, we'll continue to play with things, but maybe this guy will go back here as a skinny, because these are technically 5 dividers. I have, you know, 5 of these, and it's not front and back cover, which it could be seen that way, and I have everything in between. If this gets too weird in the back side, this might be my last page with a pocket or something on the back, and it doesn't have any pages behind it. Who knows? We'll have to see as I get going what, you know, how many pages, how many pieces I've got, and how things are going. But we are getting somewhere. So that one, yes, we will glue it down, maybe around corners. I don't know, but I feel like a few more skinny ones would be sort of nice to have throughout, because I do feel that it's nice to have a different size, you know. I mean, they're about the same width. It's just taller. So behind it, it would stick up top and bottom. See? Lovely. But it'd be the same width. So ways to create different things, different sizes, different shapes, different ways for it to stick out. And all is said and done. So thank you so much for coming along today in this lovely little weekend creation, as we get to see all the pretty things that we've done, right? We've got little, tall, skinny, lace. I'll pull this one out so you can see all of our pretty pictures in my photos. I'm like, what am I going to do, right? But I appreciate you coming along. I hope you will like, love, comment, subscribe, hit all the notifications so you get all the bells and whistles when things pop up, so you do know what's going on and what's up, what I'm creating, how I'm doing. More and more, I'm hoping to do more and more digitals and more fabrics, so you don't want to miss out on that. And then, of course, the projects that go with it. So that may be some of my next few months, may be creation, and then, you know, ways to use it, so that you guys get new ideas every time, whether you buy it digitally or buy it through the bundle. So, and by the time you see this, if for whatever reason the bundles have a different siding, I'm down to, I think, my last 2 bits of fabric. So these bundles, I have 2 more bundles, and then I have a pre-order coming up. So the moment the listing will shift, same cost, same everything, it'll say pre-order. And the moment the fabric comes in on the 12th, my goal is to get things out by the 14th. So the next, you know, potential orders will be a little bit behind, but this weekend was already, what, the 7th? So it won't be too long. It'll be about 7 days from this weekend. But if my last 2 are sold and it now says pre-order, just know that, you know, give me about a week, and I will get the orders out to you the moment the fabric comes in, and I'll get it out to you. So if you have watched to this point, I'm talking about the pre-orders, and we are dealing with the shipping issues where there's quite a lag. It's good 24 hours from the time they pick it up for me before it gets out, and I'm noticing in some places it's sitting for 24 hours at your nearest large warehouse or large post office. I have one lady who's up in Idaho, and it stops at Spokane and sits there for like 36 plus hours before it goes out to her. I have no idea why. But the post office is definitely struggling right now, and so it's changing gears, and so things are taking longer. So I am doing the best I can to get things out as fast as I can to make up for that. But I do continue to appreciate your guys', you know, patience and understanding that once I ship it out, I have no control of what the post office does. I'm just doing what I can to track it and you know, be aware of it and get it to you as best I can, as fast as I can. So thank you guys all so much for watching, liking, loving, and we will be onward and upward. I think next I'm going to try to get a bunch of pages done, and we'll work on maybe decorating the cover and working on some pockets and, you know, using some of the ephemera up in places once I get all the pages in here that I want, to see where we need to put pockets and fun ephemera pieces, so that we have places to put the fun memorabilia of our lives that we want to journal about and that we want to keep. So there we go. We're all said and done. So far, so good. Love you all very much. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.